Hello guys! Hi! Welcome to our first day of venturing the beauty of general mathematics. I am your teacher, Sir Cash Castor-Bananes, yours truly, your resident senior high school mathematics teacher. And today, we will start venturing, as I've said a while ago, the beauty of mathematics. What? So today, we will be discussing about Unit 1, functions. And as I've said in your orientation, functions will be studied, or you will be studying functions for the whole first grading period. So I hope you have fun with functions.
Sir, yes, sir!
Okay, so let's start. So our first lesson is all about representing functions. So this is actually the beauty of mathematics. It's like, to appreciate one's beauty, you should appreciate its purpose. And that's the thing that most people didn't appreciate, because people hate math because they only realize that they just study it and they don't apply it to the real life. But no.
What?
Actually, every lesson you learn in school is applicable or can be applied in your daily life situation. It's not as concrete as when you buy kamatis or isda in the palengke and then you compute with x plus y equals z and such. But instead, some of the minor details such as the value of solving, the hardship of getting the right answer, the perseverance, the what's this? The values that you obtain in solving and in studying mathematics is there. It's not as concrete as other subjects such as science, because it's science, yes, but mathematics is, it's abstract. And to appreciate some abstract things, you need to go deeper than what you have seen. Diba? As Antoine de Saint-Exupéry stated in the book The Little Prince, what is essential is invisible with the naked eye. If I'm right. Yeah. So anything that is essential or is important is not actually easily be seen by just one glance, by just merely looking and staring at it the whole time. But instead, to appreciate, to internalize, and to keep positive about topics. Because if we are not that person, well, mathematics would be your greatest enemy.
What?
Because mathematics would just needed just some attention or appreciation, just like we humans. And now, if you were hurt, if you are not appreciated, I hope that you feel the same way math feels right now.
Sir, yes, sir!
Yeah. So, for our first lesson, we represent functions. And of course, that's the most most easiest way to appreciate mathematics, to represent it in the real life or in the daily scenario. So what have we got in lesson 1? Okay, before we proceed to our discussion for today, let us first define the word function. So for your activity, go to www.menti.com and use the code 881547 for step 1. Step 2, answer a short response to the question, what comes out of your mind when you hear the word function? Because function actually is defined in mathematics as another concept. But I know for sure that you already defined function in your science subject, in your English subject, or even in your computer or in your TLE subject before in your junior high school, or even in your elementary. And maybe even in your devices such as remote, such as electric fan, how do things function well or not. So I guess function is very, 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 very familiar to you. But in general mathematics, it has its own definition. So, I will be giving you time to do this task. So, right now, I will be giving you 5 minutes to go to www.menti.com and use the code 881547 and answer the question what comes up your mind when you hear the word function. You will see the link below in the description part of this video, so better check that out, or in the Google Classroom or in Facebook groups that we have.
Sir, yes, sir!
And after you have watched this video, I will check your output. So better to leave your output or else you have no activity for the day. Okay?
Sir, yes, sir!
So, we need to represent function. Assume that I have a device here. Let's take for example, I have this very, very fabulous remote control. And we all know that a remote control has different functions, right? Our body even has its functions based on its system, right? Our skeletal system gives us support and body structure. Our muscular systems allow us to give us the shape and the strength. Our digestive system absorbs nutrients from what we eat. The respiratory system has the function of getting the clean air for us to breathe and provide oxygen all over our body. The circulatory system has a function of distributing nutrients, getting rid of the waste in the blood. The nervous system is the control center for its function in the body. What else? Integumentary system has the function of covering the body. And so, we have different functions. Actually, we have 13 or more functions in the body. Just like this remote control. And this remote control will serve as our best example for today. So, this remote control has different functions, as I've said a while ago. That have been said, it has different functions such as the volume button, the mute button, the channel changing buttons, the number buttons to go to whatever channel we want, especially if we have cable, and we have the power button. So, since the all remote controls has its power button, I will cite this as a very good example. I will ask you now, what will happen if I press the power button? Any questions? Or even I press the power button. What will happen if I press the power button? I know that you say that the device will turn off and on because that happens to your television, to your devices that has remote control, air conditioning unit, and maybe your toy car that has a remote. So what is really a function of power button? It is to turn off your device on and off. That is why it is called a power button, right? And how do the remote functions? Well, if we press the power button, the remote will process your action and then it will send signal to your device such as air conditioning unit or television, and then supposedly the device will turn off and on. Just what we have expected to the device or to happen to our device. And that constitutes our function. A function should have three elements or three elements or three attributes. It should have an input, it should have a function, and it should have an output. It's like having a factory. Okay, very fun fact. Papers are made from, if you're answering trees, that is correct. Papers actually came from trees. And did you know that it takes millions of trees to produce your school supplies for maybe for your college or even when you graduated and when you're having masters? A person alone has to kill millions of trees to provide this paper. So, from the tree, I'm just relating it. Don't be confused, ha? From the tree, which is our raw material, when we process that tree in the factory, it will have a product, a by-end product, which is the paper. And that will represent our function. The input, the raw material, will be the trunk of the tree. When it's processed in a function area or in the factory, it will become an output, which is paper. Okay, so that is a function system. So when we go back to our remote control, so we will press the power button. That's the first thing to do, right? What happened? So you press the power button first. And then what do you think will happen when you press the power button? The? Not yet.
What?
If you're thinking that the device will turn off and turn on, it's not yet. Because there is something to do with the remote too, right? So the remote control will process your action that you have done in your remote. So it has circuits there. And then the action that you have done to the remote control will analyze and will process. And then it will send signal waves to the device. So the remote will be our function. And then it will send signal to our television to turn off or turn on the device, such as television and air conditioner. And then of course, if it's functioning well, the television should turn on or turn off. On the other hand, if it's not functioning well, the other functions will occur, just like the volume will be decreased or increased, or the television will be mute, and so. So I hope that you understand the concept of function. It should have an input, a variable, and a dependent variable wherein it exists alone itself. And then we have the output, which is the independent variable, wherein it is dependent on the dependent variable. And then whatever input we have, when it is processed, we have our output. Okay?
Sir, yes, sir!
So, what is now a function? Basically, the output is the function of its input. So, the output is happened because the input is processed through a function rule. Okay? So, the turning on and off of the device is a function of pressing the power button. Indeed?
Sir, yes, sir!
Yes. So, that's correct. And for this activity, it's not really the activity that you need to comply, but it's actually a pausing moment for you to think of the functions. So, how do we represent functions to real life situations? How could something will serve as an input or a raw material that is when it is processed, it has a by-end product or an output or an outcome. So now, I would like you to think of an object or any scenario that would have an output from an input through a function. And then, you may comment your thoughts below in the comment box. And for those students who comply, will have additional points. Okay?
Sir, yes, sir!
Very good. So, we may skip. I will not giving you time. Just put your thoughts in the comment box. Okay?
Sir, yes, sir!
So, I have here mathematical scenarios wherein it shows the function that is represented in mathematics, such as the area of the circle is the function of its radius, the speed is the function of distance and time, the body mass index is a function of height and weight, and your grade is the function of the percentage of your written works, performance tasks, and quarterly assessment. These are actually of our formulas or formulae. Okay, so let's have the first example first. The area of the circle is the function of its radius. So I would ask you, how do you get for the area of the circle based on what you have learned in your grade 10 or even in your grade 7? Very good. You need to have the formula. But what is in the formula, or what should be the given that you need to substitute in the formula to obtain the area of the circle? Very good. So you need to have the radius. So in able for you to find the area of the circle, you need the radius. So the radius would be the input, and you need to substitute the radius in the formula to obtain the area of the circle. Okay?
Sir, yes, sir!
Same way goes as the input of distance and time. You should have distance and time as an input to get the result or the outcome or the output that is computed in the formula for speed to get the value of speed for number 2. For number 3, you need body mass. If you need body mass index, you need first to have the height and the weight, which is the input or the given. Then you substitute that in the formula or the function rule, and then that function rule or the formula will, if you have already substituted your input, will give you an outcome, an output, a result that is the body mass index. And same way goes to the grade, right? So kailangan po muna ninyo ng written works, ng performance task, and the quarterly assessment to compute your grade. Tama? So ayun po. So you need this 3 input first. And then the teacher will input this in the class record, and then the class record would serve as the function rule, and then voila, at the end of your quarter, you have already your grade. So that is how function really works beautifully, right?
What?
Lot of boring math later.
So I have here another table. So this table would give you an idea of what I'm talking earlier, because it's wordy, right? You know, you cannot really understand if you cannot really have the diagram or the table. So as I've said earlier, the radius is the input, right? And then the function is the formula in the problem. And then the result, or what is asked there, is the output. Same way goes as the distance and the time. And then we have the formula for the speed, S is equal to D over T, and then S, which is speed for output. And same way goes with the body mass index and your grade. Okay?
Sir, yes, sir!
I have here a matrix or a table. And then I have the first column in the right, wherein it is labeled X. And then we have the third column from the left, or the column in the right, which I labeled Y. We all know that in your junior high school mathematics, maybe it's grade 7, grade 8, or even grade 9 in algebra, you know that X is a dependent variable, wherein X also represents an input, right? Because when you have X and you do some operations with X or algorithms with X, it will become Y. And then you will pair those numbers, and then you will graph them in the Cartesian plane. I know that you have that concept, right? Now let's have it here, but in the most basic way possible that I can. So I have here set of X's, wherein the set of X, or it is called also as the set of inputs, right? And then I have here Y, the set Y, and then set Y has numbers, and it is another set of numbers. So if we are about to create a relationship in between the set of numbers in X and the set of numbers in Y, what relationship can we make? Is there any relationship between 1 and 5, 2 and 6, 3 and 7, 4 and 8, and even 5 and 9? Very good. All you have to do is to add 4 in the numbers in the set, in the set X. All you have to do is to add 4 in the numbers in the first set, in the set X, to obtain the answers in the set Y. So basically, by adding 4 from the set of inputs in X, it yields an answer in the set of outputs in Y when we add 4 for each element or each number in the set. Now, that 4, when you add number to X, will create a rule, a function rule. And that is our equation. And that is our formula. So 1 plus 4 equals 5. 2 plus 4 equals 6. 3 plus 4 and 7, and so on. So, we can conclude that if you add 4 to any numbers in X, we have Y. So, X plus 4 equals Y. And that is now our function, our formula, our equation. And that function is also a relation. So we all know that the relation, as defined in your grade 8, that any numbers that is paired has relationships, has bases. That is a relation. In function, it is a relation wherein it's a rule of correspondence between two non-empty sets such that the first element or the set of input called domain, there corresponds one and only one element of the second set or the set of outputs called range. Okay? So, basically, the set of X here, the set of inputs, or X here is the domain. And the Y here, the set of output, is called range. That is why X is associated with a domain and Y is associated with a range. Of course, the formula, the equation, the function is what we call the rule of correspondence or the function rule. Okay?
Sir, yes, sir!
So now we will be representing functions. So this real-life situation shows that the quantity depends on or corresponds to or maps onto another quantity. Just like what we have earlier, that 1 corresponds to 5, 2 corresponds to 6, 3 corresponds to 7, and so on when the numbers in the first numbers are added by 4, and we will be having results in the latter numbers, wherein 1 plus 4 equals to 5, and so on. And then, these situations incorporate 3 elements, as I said a while ago, that we have the set of inputs called domain, set of outputs called the range, and of course, the thing or the rule or the condition that bridge them, which is called the function rule or the rule of correspondence. Note, as I've said a while ago, as the definition of function goes, that for every element in the set of outputs or in the domain, there corresponds one and only one element in the set of outputs called range, based on the function rule. Okay, so however, different elements in the set of inputs may produce the same element in the set of outputs. Kasi po, ang sabi lang po sa definition is, dapat si X may kapartner na isa kay Y. Pero, pag binaliktad natin, si Y maaari magpartner ng marami kay X. How would that possible? Let's see in the following examples. Now, obviously, based on our definition that a function is a function rule or a rule of correspondence, or is a rule of correspondence wherein the set of inputs called domain corresponds to one and only one element in the set of outputs called range. So from domain, dadaan siya sa function rule at magiging range siya. So yung 1 dumaan sa function, naging 5. Okay? So ayan po yung ating diagram.
Later.
So, functions can be represented in the following forms. So we have set of ordered pairs. It can be represented through mapping, and it could be graphed in the Cartesian plane. So just like other equations, the functions can be represented by these forms. Okay, so first up, we have ordered pairs. How do we determine if a set of ordered pair is a function? I have here 4 sets of ordered pairs from A to D. And now, we will be classifying this set of ordered pairs if they are a set of ordered pairs for function or this would not be represented by function. So, let's see set A. Set A comprises of 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, and 4, 5. I know that you already learned that the ordered pair is consist of two elements or two numbers, right? Wherein the first number represents the abscissa or the value of x. And the second number is the ordinate or the value of y. Indeed, the ordered pair is in the form x, comma, y, wherein x is called abscissa and y is called ordinate. Here, I have here the set A, and as I've said a while ago, we will be determining if this is a set of ordered pairs and if it's or if this set can represent a function. So, is this set can represent a function? Okay, so how could now we determine if the set of ordered pair can represent a function? So now I'll be giving you a tip. We can say that a set of ordered pair can represent a function if, number one, we should look for the abscissa or the value of x. Make sure that the ordered pairs in the set should not contain the same abscissa but different ordinate. So wherein the abscissa should be unique and it should also has a partner that is only one. Halimbawa, itong set A. So si set A has the ordered pairs of 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, and 4, 5. Tignan natin kung may naulit na number sa x's niya. So 1, ang mga x's niya po ay 1, 2, 3, and 4. How about the y's? 2, 3, 4, and 5. May naulit po ba na abscissa or the value of x? Wala. So kung wala naman po, therefore, this set can represent a function. So set A is the set of ordered pairs of a function. Okay?
Sir, yes, sir!
Never in the color. Nagkakulay color siya. Okay, for set B. Set B has the ordered pairs of 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and 4, 4. As I've said a while ago, we make sure na dapat wala pong naulit or wala pong magkaparehong abscissa or value of x, pero different ang kanilang value of y. So dito, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and 4, 4. May naulit po ba na value of x? Wala. So therefore, this is a function. Okay, C. Set C contains the ordered pairs of 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 0, and 0, negative 1. Based sa definition ng function, the function is what? Is the rule of correspondence or the function rule wherein the first set or the set of inputs or the domain corresponds to only one and only element in the second set or the range or the set of outputs. So wala dapat elements ni domain ang naulit tapos magkaiba ang partner. Sige, check natin dito. Sa set C po ba, meron po bang naulit na abscissa or value of x? Meron. So sino yon? Si 0. Ngayon, tignan natin yung mga partners ni 0. Yung una, yung partner ni 0 dito ay 0, 1. Dun sa second set, na 0 yung x, negative 1 po ang partner niya. So, sa same set sila, pero kung papansinin nyo po, magkaiba ang value of y. In that case, hindi niya na finalo yung definition natin. So, C po is not a function. Okay, bakit? Kasi nga po si 0, naulit si 0. Di ba? Ito 0. Naulit na naman dito. Di ba? Tapos magkaiba ang y niya, 1. Tapos negative 1. Di ba? So, hindi na siya function. Kung tatanungin nyo, kung dito sir, may 0 din naman dito. Kasi dito po, tandaan nyo, ang 0 dito ay y. Ang 0 dito ay y. Walang sinabi na si y dapat nagko-correspond siya sa x. Diba? So, pabalik yon. Ang sinabi lang, x to y. So, pwede nating singilin dito, si 0, 1 and 0, negative 1 kasi isa lang dapat. Eh, dito nangyari, from x, dalawa ang naging y. Ang rule lang naman is, si x dapat isa lang ang y. Okay? May sinabi ba si y, pabalik, dalawa dapat si x? Wala, diba? So, pwede po yon. Ang definition lang naman, dapat si x, papuntang y, isa lang. Kaya si c po ay not function. Okay? How about D? O, check natin. Negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. May naulit po ba na x? Wala. Pero may naulit ba na y? Meron. Ito, di ba, naulit ang 1 sa y, yung y niya. Pero, siya ba ay function or hindi? Function or not? Siya po ay function. Bakit ang usapan nga lang po natin is si domain, si set of inputs, yung element ni domain, dapat hindi po magdoble at magkaiba ang partner niya doon sa dalawang pairing na yon. Okay? Wala tayong pakialam kapag si y, dalawa yung partner niya na x. Kasi wala naman sa definition. We should follow the definition that x should corresponds one and only element in y. Isa lang. So, from x papuntang y, dapat isa lang, hindi dalawa. Katulad kay c, di ba? Pero, dito, si 1 dito, di ba, as y, si 1 dito dalawa. Si y na 1, papuntang x na 1, tapos si y na 1, papunta sa negative 1 na x. Dalawa na yung partner ni y, papuntang x. Eh, wala nga sinabing ganon. So, therefore, function pa rin. Pina-follow niya pa rin yung definition. Okay? So, if you are still puzzling or confused, that's the time you ask me some question. Okay? Ayun po. So, aside from ordered pairs, we also introduced that functions can be represented using the mapping. So, I have here ordered pairs, pero minap na sila. I mean, minapa. Parang nilagyan na siya ng diagram. Okay? Ito po is easier. Okay? So, which of the following sets of ordered pairs are functions? I have 4 pairs. First slide, meron po tayong isang pair to be discussed. So, I have here set of inputs. Ito pong first circle. Yung y po dito is the what? Yan po yung range. Okay? Siyempre yung nauna yung x, yung domain. Ngayon po, from x to y, dapat isa lang, di ba? X corresponds to one and only element in y. Di ba? So, dapat from x papuntang y, isa lang. Tignan natin. A to V, B to W, C to X, D to Y, E to Z. Finalo niya ba yung rule? Yes. So, this is a function. How about this one? So, I have here, ayan, di ba? Ngayon, tignan natin, si A, partner niya si W. Si B, partner niya rin si W. Si C, partner niya si X. Si D, partner niya si Y, and si E po yan, partner niya pa rin si Y. Ngayon po, finalo niya ba yung definition? Yes. Siya ba ay function? Yes. Bakit? Kasi tignan niyo po, yung X dapat, isa lang ang partner kay Y. Tama ba? Yes. Kasi ang sino yung partner ni A? Si W. Ilan ang partner ni A? Isa. Si B, ilan ang partner? Isa. Sino yon? W. Eh, sir, pareho nga si A and B ng partner. Wala nga pong kaso yon kasi hindi naman sinabi sa definition. Malinaw sa definition na siya ay function kapag isa lang po ang partner ni X papuntang Y. Ang kino-correspond ni X sa Y ay isa lang. Okay? Si C, isa lang din, si X. Si D, isa lang din, Y. Si E, isa lang din, pero kapareho sila ni DY. Still, it's a function. Next, how about this one? Which of the following sets of ordered pairs are functions? We have this third mapping. Okay, si A, nagalaw lang po yan, si V ang partner niya. Si B po, hi B, gano'n. Si B po ay ang partner niya ay si W at saka si X. Si C walang partner. Si D ang partner niya ay si Y at si Z. Si E po ay walang partner. Question, is this a set of ordered pairs? Yes. Pero, does this set of ordered pairs ba would represent, or this mapping ba would represent a function? Does it follow the definition given for function? No. Bakit? Ilan ang partner ni B? Dalawa. Di ba sabi, X corresponds to one and only element in Y. Dapat isa lang. So, therefore, X na siya agad. So, itong set of ordered pairs na to na minap, itong mapping na to is not a function. Okay? Another one is, we have to graph a function. Not really tayo agad yung gagawa. Pero, we can determine if the graph of a relation or an equation is a function using vertical line test. So if a given mathematical relation is presented in a graphical form, one can easily determine whether it is a graph of a function by using the vertical line test. So the vertical line test is simply like this. A graph of mathematical relation or equation is a function. Function lang siya kapag if any vertical line drawn parallel to the y-axis or perpendicular to the x-axis passing through the graph, ibig sabihin yung curve or line na drawing natin sa Cartesian plane, intersects the graph at exactly 1 point or once. Ang dami natin sinabi na itindihan naman natin. O, di ba binasa ko hindi? Pero, I will show you how. So, I have your 3 graphs here that you may encounter in pre-calculus. Ayan. So, each slide contains 1 graph para madali natin ma-explain. So, from the 3 graphs we have, which of those are graphs of function? Halimbawa dito circle. O, ito graph ng circle. So, you will encounter this in pre-calculus. Grinaph ko yung circle sa Cartesian plane. And then, kapag nag-drawing ba ako ng vertical line, kung saang part ng circle na yan, siya po ba ay function? Kasi kapag nag-drawing na tayo ng vertical line na straight, na perpendicular, or perpendicular sa x-axis, yung x yung pahigang axis, diba? Kapag perpendicular means they intersect and they form 90 degrees. Or para mas easier itindihin, dapat yung line na idodrawing natin, ang imaginary line na idodrawing natin for the vertical line test should be parallel to the y-axis, yung patayong line, di ba? So ngayon po, ito bang graph ng circle natin na ito for our first graph is a function or not? The answer is, hindi po siya function. Bakit? When we about to draw a vertical line, as you can see in our screen, ilang beses po tumama yung blue line, which is our imaginary line, sa graph? 2. Dapat kung saan man natin i-drawing si vertical line na yan, yung blue na yan, kung saan man natin siya ilagay, dapat isang beses lang siyang tatama sa graph natin. Okay? Kung saan mo man siya ilagay. So kapag may part doon na 2 beses siya nag-meet, therefore, hindi na siya function. Okay? How about this one? Ang graph na po ba ito ay graph ng function or hindi? This one is a graph of function. Bakit? Kasi itong parabola na ito, wherein you may encounter this in pre-calculus also, sa conic section, ayan, kapag nag-draw kayo ng vertical line, anywhere from this parabola, isang beses lang siyang tatama sa graph. Yung blue line, isang beses lang tatama dito sa curve natin. So, kapag isang beses lang siya tatama sa blue line, it is a graph of a function. Otherwise, kapag 2 or more na, hindi na siya graph ng function. Nakuha po? How about this one? Itong parabola na nakapahiga. Of course, obviously, kapag nag-drawing tayo ng vertical line dyan, siya po ay, ayan, siya ay hindi na graph ng function kasi tumama na siya ng twice sa ating parabola. Okay? So, those things can be represented or those things can represent a function. So, ayan. So, ngayon po, I guess, dito lang po mag-e-end ang ating lesson. So, later, we will be having an open forum or you will be allowed to ask me of the things that you may found confusing in this video. And for tomorrow po, I hope you prepare for a short seat work or quiz. Of course, it's recorded. And before that, siguro, we will be having first a review. Siguro mga 10 minutes review lang for you to nurture your learnings today and to understand it more further. So I guess that's all for today. Goodbye, class.